Let's jump into it. So, appreciate you guys joining if you're on YouTube and as well as TikTok and the community. So let's talk a little bit about yesterday. Yesterday was just an all around great day. It's interesting because we were so bearish for just so long, and you can see those of you guys who are in the community. I hope you're really taking the time to look at these. Market insights. Actually, let me go back to the one yesterday. And if you're on TikTok, this is kind of what we do. So we put out a few different guidance things here, but I wanted to point this out because I tell people all the time, winning trades is amazing. Being able to call what it does and winning is really where it's at. And so I had to kind of like just get a little excited about this. I mean, this is what we put out yesterday morning around this time. I did the TA early morning, right? And you can see that continued kind of flow across. And if you go over to the chart, I mean, it literally almost hit it exactly. So that was super exciting. Very telegraphed day yesterday. We had a really good win right out the gate at market open. And so market opened right around here. We caught this pump up, saw the retracement from the resistance. We closed it. Just made a ton of money on that pump, and we were done. I mean, few people took some other pumps. I mean, these were all within that guide as well. But we made some really good money early. So I want to talk about where I think we're going from here. Again, just looking at this, I mean, we're getting a very rounded kind of feel here, right? So when we talk about the rounded feel, like what I was talking about the other day in the room, is you want to kind of look at this side and how it reacted, look at our bottom, and then see if this side's starting to react similar. And so it's kind of starting to act similar, right? So let's say we anticipate this as our bottom, kind of the center of the bottom. And then you take this side right here, right? We hit this area here on the downtrend, and then you come over to here, we hit that exact area, and then we pump back up, which was very similar to this right here. Now we're up at this level and here, and notice that we hit this side almost perfect right there as well. And so we kind of came up. So now we're at that resistance of this side right there. And so it's just at a big area, because if we can flip above, slightly maybe above this, I would probably say somewhere in that 427, 28, 25. If we can flip this above, then it's almost guaranteed it's going to come up to this 418.94 to hit this resistance. I would imagine we would get that push north, come back up, start to pull back a little bit. I know I left it downstairs and I got lazy. I didn't feel like going to get it. So you get to look at my bald head, John. And possibly range right here for a little bit, right? And then see if it can hold it. If it can hold this level just like it did here, then we have that upside, back up to the 422 areas. Now, let's talk about how do I know that this is collapsing? I mean, obviously they always don't play out 100%. You can do something as simple as just take a trend line, right? And you pull this up like that. You can see that we hit 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and we're right at it. So if you think about this, if it breaks this trend line with any kind of momentum, the next thing right here, right below it, if you look, is going to be our 200 on the 5-minute. Yeah, right there. And so you can see the 200 EMA on the 5-minute. So if we break this trend line and we break this 200 EMA and we start to lose some support, then it's just going to come down. And it doesn't mean we're not still rounding. It just means that it might be a little bit wider, right? So if this were to come down like that and hit and come up like this, right, we could still have a nice little kind of elongated rounded bottom as well too. So yeah, no, but I keep that short, John. So that's kind of what we're going to watch today. Overall, we're above the 200 on the 5-minute, so we're opening fairly bullish on the SPY. For me to flip bearish, I'd need to see it flip, 415.21 with some kind of steam, and then hold that as a rejection. Then I could see that coming down. Keep in mind, we could push up a little bit into this range here, and then, looking at kind of where our prior resistances are. I mean, you can see them along here. We could get a little rejection, creating a little handle, end up making a little cup and handle. So I think from where we were, how bearish we were, this is kind of just a gap fill. It still has a crucial level of that 417.34. I think that it has to break because it'll give us a higher high than this, which will give that confirmation that we're in full reversal. So from this drop here, we did get that kind of higher high levels and then our higher low. Part of what I was talking about all day yesterday is if you go into the 1 hour time frame, you can see it's a little more clear on the candles. Let me go on the candles. But you can kind of see you had your shoulder head, you know, you had that little kind of itty bitty shoulder there too. So this kind of could have acted as a shoulder. It looks like it's kind of coming through here because we didn't quite get that volume that I was hoping for it. And so this level here also kind of works somewhat as a neckline around this area here too. So once we get past this level, I mean that I can see this push being pretty strong. If you go to the 1 hour, the 200 EMA is all the way up here to 421.69. So if we do break this level and hold it as support, we do have a heavy resistance here, which was actually really good support. But if we flip this as support, I mean, you can almost guarantee to ride this this call up to that level. So should be a pretty exciting day. I want to caution you all. Again, I did this yesterday, but I'm going to do this until tomorrow. We have probably one of the biggest news groupings tomorrow that we've had in a long time. So today we do have some news that did drop. It was, where's the one I'm looking for? Consumer confidence, right? So 10 a.m., this is where that news dropped. So this could cause us to pull back a little bit and then it comes out bullish and we shoot up, or we could push up a little bit and that comes out bearish and we shoot down. So be very careful. It is one of those news events that can reverse this quickly. But tomorrow, look at this. We have the non-farm, we have the PMI, we have the JOLTS, we have crude oil inventory, and if that's not enough, we have the Fed interest rate decision. So tomorrow's going to be wild. My advice to you guys in the room is what I told you in the insights, and also y'all watching on TikTok. A lot of money can be made in days like this, but if you're one that has the trouble keeping your emotions under control, it's not a good day to trade because you're going to see some crazy swings in crazy directions, and it's going to be pretty intense. So my suggestion to you, if you are trading it, you know, maybe lower your volume a little bit. That'll help you with your emotions and such. So on the VIX, let's talk about that briefly. Let's go to the 1 hour. So on the 1 hour, we fell below the 200 right here, and then we reclaimed it pretty quick. We are below that 200 now on the 1 hour on the VIX, but we are not quite death crossed. We have not death crossed since it was down here. If we do get this death cross in the next few hours due to news, I would suspect that it's going to continue to fall. We do have some heavy support around 1860 or so. So you can almost mark a line right here. And as it comes down to here, if you're in that call, you may want to consider closing it if we start to get a retracement back the wrong way. But if we do break this, right, I mean, you can almost leave that sucker open. So we did get some bearish divergence. That's kind of playing out already right in front of us there. Let's look at the dollar. At the end of the day, the dollar is just ranging sideways. You can see a nice little pump north it just had right now. 1 hour though, it's below the 200. So if we get a rejection here, it comes back down. We're likely, I still think we're going to hit this trend line. Same one that we've hit here. You can see 1, 2, 3 times. For me to be bearish on the dollar, I would need to see it break this trend line. If it breaks this trend line, I think it'll do it with some steam, which will blow through this support here. And it'll come back down to that 104, which will be what drives us up. Anything short of that though, if it stays above this trend line, or better yet, above this 106.06, it's just going to have more upside, which is going to drive us more to the downside. So stay safe. I think my kind of parting advice for you is at the end of the day, we had a nasty fall. We had a pump up, and we had a nasty fall. This is, as of now, just a pump up, right? I always tell people, you know, you utilize the replay tool. And when you look at this looks super exciting, right? Super bullish. It's like, man, it makes you want to just jump in and get that call. But when you take it back like this, right? Or if you go back, you know, a little bit more like this, right? You're starting to see that kind of similar sentiment where you had those crazy pumps and you're like, oh man, we're going to this 200, we're going, you know, we're going in it. And then all of a sudden, you know, come to find out it has a nasty rejection and then we just collapse, right? So it could happen here too. At the end of the day, you know, what you see here with this potential inverse head and shoulder, if you also take these two wicks here, you can see we have also a parallel channel, right, after a big fall. So if this collapses down, right, that fall could be pretty nasty. So my point is, don't get too over bullish. We're not really out of the woods yet, but just stick close to your charts and you'll be okay. So let's take a look at the gap fill. Gap fill's pretty balanced, but still showing bullish. Moving average actually has us on bullish, so that's looking pretty good. And the heat map on the 1 hour, we're still bearish. We'd have to break above 423 to break that line. So let's check the shorter time frame. Shorter time frame, or we are bullish. And so you can see we did briefly break into the bearish, but it reclaimed it, broke us back into the bullish, and we're just holding that. According to this, if we flip the 414.98, then that would be that bearish on short term. So lots to soak in. Bitcoin, we drew this, I don't know, I think, was it Monday or Friday? I don't remember. We drew this kind of box in. It's just staying in there. Again, if we just watch this over the next, you know, few days, by the end of this week, I mean, this is like Monday, right? So by Friday, you should be able to tell if we're going to break south or if we're going to break north. So somewhere around Friday on that one. But good deal, guys. If you're in the community, you guys have the levels. We already set those out. I got the live trader settings on there, and we should be solid. So let's see what the volume shows on the open. If you look at our close volume was massive red, which caused us to do that kind of pullback to that 414 by the 4 a.m. But since, you know, 4 a.m. Opened up, right, it's been reversing. But you know, the U.S. likes to when the after hours loves to push this up like this. The U.S. Open tends to like to reverse that. So we'll see if we get the, you know, confidence to well, I guess the no pun intended with the confidence report to push north, or if we're gonna have that rejection. So. But that's all I got, guys. I'm going to go ahead and cut it off here. Again, if you're on TikTok or you're on YouTube, I keep these short now, 15 minutes. We open our room at 9:15, so I usually like to cut this about 15 minutes, just a little guidance. If you're looking for further guidance, it is in the room under Market Insights, and you guys can join up at botjock.com to check that out. And yeah, I'll have the room open at 9:15. We'll get some trading in. We'll see how the market opens at 9:30.